Good morning, everybody. Hopefully you had a wonderful weekend and you're getting all ready for Halloween tomorrow, especially those of you with little kids. So we've got a ton of stuff to cover today, so I'm going to be going 100 miles an hour. So let's get started. First thing, the 5-minute moneymaker. It's how to use a follow-up email. Guys, using follow-up emails, and I'll give you a template here, is a fantastic way to again, differentiate yourself from everybody else out there. So after a meeting, sending them a business-like email says tons about you. So the whole thing with handwritten notes say a ton of things about you. Following any type of follow-up says a ton about you. If you think about it, guys, those of you that have used any type of service, whether it's a plumber or a realtor or a banker, how many of those people do any type of follow-up emails or anything like that? So let me get some answers to that. I mean, how often do you see that? Email saying, hey, here's what happened, and blah, blah. See, people, and everybody's saying zero. That's right. So guess how easy it is to make yourself different and more professional and better than not only just all from other financial advisors, but everybody else out there, a breath of fresh air. So take a look at this, print it, and then you don't have to follow it exactly, but it'll at least get the wheels turning on how to write a good follow-up email for every single meeting you have. The 5Q tape breakdown was about talking about numbers, graphs, and charts, and you saw an indication of what can happen if you don't do it right. So we try to avoid as many numbers, charts, graphs, illustrations as we can, but when we do cover them, you have to do it very methodically. And so the 5Q tape breakdown showed you what can happen and also how to do it. So make sure if you haven't listened to that, go and listen to that. So we're coming into the holidays, November, December. So the thing is you can market during these times and you can get tons of people in. So what's the problem then? So you can do seminars and fill up the seminars. You can do eye to eye and get in front of people. What's the problem then with the holidays? It's not getting people in to see you. What's the problem? Yeah, Kevin's got it. Yep, Dale's got it. Mark's got it. Yeah, it's the meeting process afterwards. So trying to get them to come to the first meeting, second meeting, third meeting, it starts to get spread out over 2-3 months, and guess what you end up doing? Having to redo the number 2 meeting again, or the disclosure or advisorectomy meeting again. You have to do all these things over, and you have a higher chance of losing them. So we don't want to be spending extra money during this time. We want to rather save that money and put it towards January, February, and March. January, February, March is the biggest quarter. You should write half your business during those 3 months. So what I would recommend, what do you think I was going to recommend that you be doing right now for the next 2 months? What do you think I'd be recommending you do for the next 2 months? Wade's got it. What do you think, guys? What should you be doing for the next 2 months? Yeah, so everybody's getting it. Mastering the 21, mastering the 21, mastering the 21, mastering the 21, and then getting ready to market, turning that on in the middle of December so that you can start seeing people in the middle of January. Get that 21 down. And then Wade also brings up doing reviews. Why would you want to do reviews now? Well, first of all, it's downtime, and what can you do with reviews? What should you be doing with your reviews? We've talked about this here about 2-3 weeks ago. What should you be? Yes, getting referrals, Chris. Exactly, Wade. What are we going to do? How are we going to get referrals? We're going to do the 21, remind them of all the, review the 21 with them, all the non-financial things we do, and then do our little referral script, having them realize, geez, I should refer my mom to my advisor because I don't want mom's problems to become my problems. So the referral becomes about them, not helping you or helping their mom. It has to be about them. So use that referral script when you do the reviews. Make sense? So, and here's the reason why, and Jerry showed me this, and I think it was a very good illustration of what to expect and why you hear me say, geez, the 21-point checklist works so well, it'll work even if you're not doing it right, and that's a problem. So here's why. So Jerry showed me this, and I think it makes total sense. So if you have a skill level of 1, if you have a skill level of 1 with the 21-point checklist, and clients have difficulty closing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, how many people will you close? Everybody answer this. If you have a skill level of 1 with the 21-point checklist, how many of these groups right here of the client closing difficulty, what level will you close? Yeah, everybody's giving it to me. 1. Yeah, 10% or 1. You just get the 1. But if you spend the next 2 months, even if you've learned the 21, can you learn the 21 better, guys? Even if you, again, I am so impressed with you guys. I've in 17 years of coaching this, almost 18 years, I have never had as many people learn the 21-point checklist as today. So I am highly impressed. But guess what, guys? We still don't have guys closing 100% of people, which is what you should be doing. So unless you're closing 100% of people, circle back and spend these next 2 months getting even better at the 21-point checklist. And by better, I mean not learning the script, but learning to do the script how. Because there's a lot of guys that know the script, but guess how they're doing the script too much, doing too much of what? Doing too much of what, do you think? They've got the script down, but they're doing too much what? Talking, right, Mark? Telling, selling, preaching, and teaching. You gotta have the client tell you the script. You gotta work towards where you don't say anything. All you're doing is letting the client go through the process. You're facilitating. You're asking those motivational interviewing questions to get the client discover. So we've got tons of people that got the 21-point checklist down. Now circle back and get better at asking those open-ended questions so the client gets the 21-point checklist down. Make sense? Because here's the thing. When you have a skill level of 10, guess who you're going to sell? Will you sell ones with a skill level of 10? 1 in difficulty. How about 2? How about 3? How about 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? When you have a skill level of 10 where basically you're not saying anything but the client is for an hour and a half or 2 hours telling you in small ways and big ways why they can't stay with the current advisor, how many people will you sell? All of them. And guys, I've said this before, if you could make $1 million, or if I would pay you $1 million to learn Spanish, how many of you would learn Spanish? You all would. You wouldn't tell me it was hard. You wouldn't say I don't have time. You wouldn't say I'll do it tomorrow. You'd bust your behind to learn Spanish. Guys, here's the great thing about the 21-point checklist. You don't get paid $1 million once. You can get paid $1 million for $1.5 million, $2 million every year that you decide you want to work. So please use the next 2 months wisely, okay? So the other thing you could be doing besides client reviews and learning the scripts is to make your own luck. See, and luck comes down to 2 things. And actually, there's a big science, there's a lot of science around luck today. And guess what they found out about luck? There's no such thing as luck. There's no such thing as luck. Or you can view it a different way. You can make your own luck. Because luck comes down to 2 things, having a positive attitude and having connections. Positive attitude and having connections. And really, do those 2 things go together? Absolutely, they go together. So over the next 4 weeks, I'm going to give you 4 different ideas to utilize positive attitude and connections to start getting in front of people at no cost, okay? So first thing you should, so this week's idea is just get out there. I mean, how many mothers have told their moping sons or daughters, just get out there? It's terrific advice for you as an advisor if you're looking for new clients. See, the vast majority of people or marketers right now, it's community involvement where most marketers are finding their clients right now. Well, you know, and I'll take this is not where they're finding the clients. This is what they're doing. This is what most advisors, 50% of advisors are doing to get in front of people. Why do you think advisors are doing this versus advertising, direct mail, email, newsletter, seminars, or social media? First of all, they're not doing social media because social media does not work. But why are they doing community involvement? And feeling good, yeah, and cheap. Feeling good and cheap. That's right. You guys got it. Feeling good and cheap. But here's the thing. If you do it right, it can work for you. So we want cheap things for the next 2 months, right? We want cheap things for the next 2 months because it's more difficult to get people through the process. So we don't want to invest a lot of our marketing dollars in the next 2 months. That doesn't mean you don't want to get in front of people, though. So think about this. Attend club meetings, network events, any type of class, informational meetings. I've had 2 guys tell me they've attended classes that had nothing to do with finance, and they got clients from that here in the last month or so. Informational meetings, political meetings, church meetings, volunteer meetings, road races, bike rides, charity walks. Look around and get out there. So should you do things that you don't like to do? No. But if you have things that you like to do, get out there and do them. Have fun. And when you're having fun, do you have a positive attitude when you're having fun? Are you making connections when you're having fun? Yes, and you'd be surprised on how much business you can find that way. So make a goal. You know, I hate goals, right? Okay, so let's make a system. Have a system where you're going to meet a minimum of 5 new people a week. 5 new people a week. Have conversations about them and show interest in them. When they ask you what you do, pull out DocuBank. One of our advisors, Sean, has done a fantastic job using DocuBank. He's thinking this thing is the best thing sliced bread, because when he pulls out DocuBank and sells that hard on how great it is with the you know, so you're not reliant on the hospital's medical power of attorney, and so that when it has all of your medical problems on the card, so if that something happens to you, and using it for your college-age kids as a HIPAA document. I mean, so he's just making hay with this, with the DocuBank right now. That's, you know, and it works great for conversation when people say, what do you do, to pull that out, because does it have anything to do with finance? No. It gets them talking. When you meet somebody new, exchange contact information. Send a simple handwritten note. It was great meeting you, getting to know you a bit. I love to watch it. I mean, just send a little simple handwritten note. Get them added to your newsletter list. Send a special invite the next time you do any seminars with a handwritten note inviting them. The more people you get to know, the more they'll want to get to know you. Also, the power of giving. Reciprocity is a huge influence. When you meet somebody or all the people you do know, is there anything that you could give them? I mean, how could you be more giving and supportive? You don't have to actually buy them anything. Giving them things is giving them time, giving them support, giving them empathy, giving them a that-a-boy. What could I do to be more giving and supportive? Which relationships should I concentrate more on giving? What professional relationships do I have where I could be giving more? In the next week, and now guys, in the professional relationships, should you be looking at giving more like ideas on how you can help them and how, you know, how they can, you know, what you could do for their clients? What am I talking about giving here? About selling or trying to get in front of their clients, or actually finding ways to make their lives, these professionals' lives, easier? Yeah, personal. That's right, Nicholas. In the next week, who will I ask, what do you need or how can I help you? Just doing that. Geez, if you called up all your clients, CPAs and said, listen, I'm just wondering, you're getting ready, you know, we're getting closer to the tax season. What can I do, or to help you? What do you need that I can make your life easier? Just, you know, that doesn't, if all you do is that, what will that say about them? Will they remember that phone call, guys? Will they remember that phone call? Yes. And how many of your clients, do we have a system, let me ask you this, do we have a system for you to get to know all of your clients' CPAs? Everybody better answer this. So Wade's got it. 5 yeses, 6 yeses. Come on, guys. And are you, do you know every single one of your clients' CPAs? If you don't, guys, how much does it cost to know your client CPAs? Nothing. Well, yeah, stamp. So the system basically is you give your clients, there's a little script, and you give the clients a letter that they send to the accountant. So it's your client's signature at the bottom telling the accountant that they want the accountant to meet with you. They want the client to go to lunch with you. Dudes, please, and dudettes, please do that, okay? So, number 2, lean on somebody. People love to help. Is there any way you could ask for something that really doesn't take somebody, maybe advice? People love to give advice. People love to give people directions. So ask for help that doesn't require them to do any work, and they will love you for it. Think about this. How do you feel after somebody on the street asks you for directions? How do you feel, guys, when you give good directions? How do you feel when somebody asks you for directions? Yeah, you feel good. People like helping as long as it doesn't require any work. Show sincere and honest appreciation. Send notes frequently. Thanks for advice. Thanks for help. What you said really helped. Thanks for referral. Thanks for the ideas. Thanks for taking time to share with me. Look for reasons to communicate with people. 4, come up with a list of 10 most connected people you know and start building relationships with them. Figure out who in my community do I know that's well connected that I'd like to start with my big toe in the door with them, and get to know them better and better and better to the point where they become a center of influence for me. How can I be of value to this person? You don't need even 10. How about 1? How about if you just find 1 person that's really connected that you know, that you start to build a relationship with? How can I be of value to this person? How could I surprise them? Is there any way I could ask them for help or advice? What can I do to grow this relationship? Think about it. You need to start dating that person. You need to start dating that person. 5, connect. It said that everyone knows 250 people in a first name basis. Just think about that when you're wondering whether it's worth approaching someone and getting to know them. Touch, touch, touch. Now that you've met the person, have a plan to touch them regularly. Newsletters, handwritten notes. Like I've told you over and over, I used to send out, the year I made $1 million, I was sending out 200 handwritten notes every single month. Pick up the phone to check in on them occasionally about finances, or just how you doing. Go to breakfast, comment on their LinkedIn or Facebook. Remember, out of sight, out of mind. So call it in act. Here's some ideas. Call it in act. Make sure to follow through on any promises you make to them. Call to say that you're thinking of them. Call to wish a happy birthday or holiday. Ask for help. Ask if there's anything you can do for them. Build friendship, golf, boating, tennis dates, whatever. Become a center of influence. This is the biggest one. If you want to start writing huge cases, this is the one thing that you should do. Become a center of influence. There's no more powerful person than a matchmaker, the person that knows everybody and knows what everybody is doing. Be that person. So what that means is find a center of influence, or find a business person, and then find another business person that you think they could benefit each other. Take them both out to lunch, take them both out to breakfast, and introduce them to each other. If you made a plan of doing that once a week or even once a month, you become known in the community as what? If you're constantly connecting one person to another person, helping them come up with an idea of how they can help each other, you become the rainmaker, Mark. That's exactly right. You become the rainmaker, right, Larry? You become the center of influence. You become the guy that everybody wants to know. If I was going to do one thing, if I got back into personal production, guess what I would do? This. Because I don't like, I like to have one-on-ones. So these are one-on-ones that you can have with people. This is how you can become a huge case writer. You go from writing the $150,000, $250,000 cases to the $2.5 to $3 million cases when you do this. Is that worth your time and effort? I would think that it would be. Get good at small talk. Don't just listen, actively listen. Listen for ways to help grow the relationship. Listen for them to say, I want to, I need a, I'm looking for, I'm tired of, I'm involved in, I have a problem with, I wish I could. Why do you want to be looking for these things, guys? Why do you want to be looking for them to say these things? I want to, I need a, I'm looking for, I'm tired of. It's a way for you to provide what? Value. If they want to do something, help them do it. If they need something, find it for them. If they're looking for it, find it for them. If they're tired of, fix it for them. I'm involved in, get involved with them. I have a problem with, fix the problem. I wish I could help, make their wish come true. Listen for these things. Think big. Reach out to people you may have think that are out of your league. Put 5 of them together, and again, try to get a relationship with them. You become a master networker, and when you commit to learning this art, and this is the way to make huge cases. This is making your own luck. So this is this week's idea that costs you nothing, but it takes elbow grease. And with most of these guys, are we talking about small cases with most of what I'm talking here? Are these large cases you'd be working on? How many of these cases would you need in a year to make this worthwhile, to put some elbow grease into this? Millen, contact Missy Millen and we'll talk about that. At the end of these 4 weeks, I'm going to get you the actual system that does this, or maybe Missy and I'll talk, and maybe we'll get you the system in advance. But this is something to be doing. This is the first of 4 weeks of ideas that cost you nothing. Okay. So, and what should you be doing when people say, "What do you do?" What should you be saying when people say, "What do you do?" Well, I get homeowners born before 1956 in Olmsted County. 21 little known benefits they're owed but not receiving, including a program to protect your wife from losing half her Social Security income at death, and a program to cover 2 years of long-term care costs without paying a cent in annual premiums. Now, how can we make this better? That's right, Mark, the elevator speech. And reducing, here's another one, and reducing the tax they pay on investment income down to just 1.5%, almost eliminating it using IRS Code 72. Do you think somebody's going to be interested in one of these 3 things? If I'm talking to a 40-year-old, I'm going to use number 3. If I'm talking about somebody who's retired or near retired or have parents, I'm going to talk about these two upper ones. Now, what's a way to make these better? What? Instead of saying, I have a program to protect your wife, instead say, what are you doing to protect your wife when she loses half your Social Security income at your death? So what's the difference there, guys? It requires a what? It's an open-ended question, right? It requires an answer. So when you ask most people that, what are they going to say? Yeah, I don't know. Why would a program to cover 2 years of long-term care costs without paying a cent in annual premiums be important? What are they going to say to that? It wouldn't be. I've got an extra 80 grand a year I can spend for the next 5 years in case we have a dementia. How much of your investment income have you moved to I would say to the 1.5% tax bracket instead of 3%, 1.5% tax bracket? What are they going to say to that? What are you talking about? How do you do that? See, when they say, this is engaging them in a conversation, it's making them give an answer instead of just telling, selling, preaching, teaching. Make sense? So know these things. So when you connect, you can actually use them. Make sense? So changing gears here, record numbers of FIAs continue to be sold over the last 2 years. $32 billion a year. So are they a good place for your client's money? Are they a good place for your client's money? I sure in the heck hope you think so. Let's talk about why. This is actually from 2014, but the reason I'm using this is because it's the only actual data that actually compares real life FIAs, not in theory, but using FIAs with their actual participation rates as compared to the market. Multiple FIAs as compared to the market. It was shown in the Journal of Financial Planning, but they got it from the Wharton School of Business. So it's Vanderpel, Marion, and Babel. So what they found, again, this is not in theory, they actually did use actual FIAs with their actual participation rates as compared to the market. This paper offers the first empirical explanation of fixed index returns based on actual contract values that were sold and actual interest that was credited. FIAs are designed to be limited downside, blah, blah, blah. Studies that have criticized FIAs are usually based on hypothesized crediting rate formula. So, and who's criticizing FIAs and why are they using hypothesized formulas? Because they don't want people to sell them because they're too dang good. The returns of real-world indexes analyzed in this paper outperform the S&P 500 over 67% of the time. Dudes, I know we're not supposed to be placing them against equities, but what is this telling us? 2/3 of the time at what? It outperformed the 50-50 makes the Treasury bills in the S&P 500 80% of the time. Our study is exploratory because although it is based on actual contracts and actual crediting rates, our policies data is neither randomly selected nor comprehensively based upon data based on 15 characters. So it was, again, from the Wharton School of Business. Here's what they found. Using actual returns, 5-year returns, from 1997 to 2002, the S&P 500 returned 9.39, FIAs 9.19. They only looked at 5 FIAs at that time. So what's the difference there, guys? A lot or a little? Very little difference return, but how much? Which one was more secure? 1998 to 2003, S&P 500, 0.42. Cumulative return, 5.46, or not cumulative. Average rate of return, 0.42, 5.46. Which one creamed who? Who creamed who? 1999 to 2004. Negative 2.77, 4.69. Who creamed who? 2000 to 2005. Negative 3.08, 4.33. Who creamed who? 2001 to 2006. Oh, wait. The S&P 500 beat the FIA. By how much, guys? By how much? A lot or a little? Little. 2002 to 2007, 13.37. FIA got how much return? Half of it. Half of it. But we've been through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, and how many years out of 6 so far has the S&P 500 been the best place to be? 2003, 2008, 3.18. Now the FIA doubled the S&P 500. Then negative 4.19, negative 3.89. Guys, these are actual rates of return. And they use my favorite kind of FIAs. What's my favorite kind of FIAs? For those that know me, what's my favorite kind of FIAs? Point to point, yearly point to point. I hate black box FIAs. If you can't explain to the client how you got that return, I don't like it. I do not like it. But you know what? And it's how easy is it to analyze point to point? It's easy. It's easy to show. So what is this telling us? That FIAs are a good place to be for your fixed money? No, geez, if it creams the market, how great a place can you think of for your guaranteed money? So is it real or simulated? Oh, those of you who want the article, just go look at this. Wharton Financial Institution Center, just real world index returns, and just type in Vanderpal, Babel, or Marion online, and you can find this document. Real world index annuity returns. Real world index annuity returns. Marion, Vanderpal, or Babel. You can write down any one of those things, and you can find it online. So is it real or simulated? Using simulated, now, okay, those were real. They did simulated, and they backtested for 30 years using fluctuating bond rates and FIA participation rates, using Monte Carlo. And so they used all of the actual rates that the FIAs would have been based on bond values and correlating to participation rates. So it validates what we already knew. So this is Monte Carlo for 30 years. So they're comparing point to point, the monthly average to the index, to 30, 70, 40, 60, 50, 50, 60, 40, 70, 30. So the point to point as compared to, let me see, the S&P 500 compared to the point to point beat the point to point 85% of the time going back 30 years. But let's look at the sharp, and that's if you add 100% in there. 100% in the S&P 500. And how many of our clients should be 100% in the S&P 500 or in the market? None. And how much would they have beaten the market by? Well, 9.1. So if you told your clients that you could have 5% versus with no risk versus 9.1 with lots of risk, which would they choose? If we go to 50-50, if you said, listen, we can have 5% with no risk versus 5.3, where how much of your portfolio, if you're at 50% bonds and 50% stocks, how much of your portfolio is at risk, guys? Dave's got it right. Dana's got it right. Cheryl's got it right. Everybody's getting it right. All of it. So if you said, if you could have a portfolio where all of your money was at risk versus at 5.3% versus none of it at risk at 5, how many would choose the 5? And guys, if you don't understand why 100% of your portfolio is at risk, you need to go learn the interest rate volatility script on the 21-point checklist. And again, the Sharpe ratio is a measure of calculating risk-adjusted return. This ratio has become the industry standard for calculations. It was developed by blah, blah, blah. So it's a risk, so you want to, what kind of Sharpe ratio, high or low? The higher the Sharpe ratio, the more it means you have a better rate of return for the risk you're taking. So the point-to-point you see here has a 2.6. How many of them 30-70, 40-60, 50-50, 60-40, or 70-30 beats it? None. So remember, are our clients looking for the highest rate of return possible, or are they looking for the best rate of return, which means the highest rate of return with the least amount of risk? Which are they looking for? So what is the Sharpe a measurement of? It's a measurement of the highest rate of return with the least amount of risk, which is exactly what clients want. So what did we find out with FIAs is compared to real life returns? Real life FIAs with real life returns. What did we find? FIA is way better. Then if we go back 30 years and use Monte Carlo, what do we find? Slam dunk. So now let's take it one step further. What if we went ahead and kept the S&P 500 to get that 9% rate of return, but instead of bonds we used FIAs? What would happen to all these numbers here, guys? What would they look like? Holy crap, what would they look like, guys? Do you get this? So anybody that's got their money money management money in bonds is a complete and blithering what? Got one answer. Come on, guys. I want everybody to answer this. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Come on. Guys, if you have any money in bonds when you're looking at this, this is proof, guys. It's not me saying that they're good. This is actual proof. Wharton School of Business, Journal of Financial Planning. Guys, use this information, okay? Because look at this. 18 years, cumulative return, negative 4%. 25 years, cumulative. This is not on average, 1.69% on average per year. 25 years where they got only 1.69 for the whole 25 years. 17 years, cumulative, not on average, cumulative. 17 years with 0.83. 11 years, cumulative return, 5.82, not average, cumulative, 11 years. Guys, when people retire, you're going to tell them to wait 11 years before you can start making money? You're going to tell them wait 17 years before you can start making money? Wait 25 years before you can start making money when they retire? No. Hey, we're hoping that we're in these years. Do we know? Are you willing to mortgage your house for all of your clients to guarantee that we're in the gray versus the black? If you're not, what should you be using, guys? What's the ratio you should be using? 50-50. See, we got the banana split here. Split it 50-50, and no matter what side you eat, you're what? You're good. Okay? And you should do this because I say so. Why should you do this? Why should you use that kind of portfolio? Because I say so? That's a trick question, guys. Because I say so? Because you say so? Because what? The client says so. It's because the client says so. Guys, when you use the FIA presentation, what do people say about the never lose money and never forget number one? They think that's a ridiculous rule or a good rule. When you do the funny math, what do they learn about the fact that when markets go down versus not losing money, which one is better over time? What do they tell you? When you ask them, do you think never lose money and never get rule number one is more important? Do you think we should go hell-bent and fury for as much growth as possible? How many people say they want to go hell-bent and fury for as much growth as possible? When you say we've got a way to buy low and sell high automatically, what do they say? Good thing or bad thing? When you say that I can't read, anybody who says that they can read in the future is a liar. Why? How much would anybody who could say, you know, I just laugh when somebody says, I'm going to be able to get you out of the market in time. How much would that guy be worth if he could predict the future and get you out of the market in time? How much would that guy be worth? He'd have all the money in the world, Dave, you're right. So would he be spending any time with somebody with a $500,000 portfolio if he was that smart? Remember, guys, this is the only way that you, at the end of the year, you can decide whether you want to be in the market or out of the market. How huge is that? You can decide not at the beginning of the year. You can decide at the end of the year, would I rather have been in the market or would I rather have been out of the market? How many people want that? This is the only way that you can do that. And who says that this is the best thing? Us or them? Them. See, and when you go through how it works, the option at the end of the year to be in and out of the market. When you walk through, you know, you can walk through this or show them the Wharton School of Business article. When you show them that basic, you know, that, yeah, some years you're going to come out, you know, when you go through this chart, how many people when you go through this chart want the red line, guys? Please tell me, have you ever run across anybody when they tell you, when they walk through the chart, how many people has ever wanted the red line? Please, guys, if you have assets under management, I'd be happy to come down and meet your clients. How many of those people are going to move to FIAs? If I meet with your clients, how many people are going to move to FIAs? Well, you know what? There's other me out there. There's other me's out there, and if you have assets under management, somebody like me is going to get in front of your clients eventually, and guess what's going to happen? They're going to want the blue line instead of the red line, and then you're going to go bye-bye. Guys, when you go through this, when you go through and say, listen, you know what, the market goes up. Warren Buffett's number 2 when the market goes down. Warren Buffett's number 2 when the market goes sideways. Warren Buffett's number 2, so it's never the best place to be. What do they say? Tough. I don't want to be in the best place. I just never want to be where? In the worst place. Is this us saying this, or is this them? How many times in this chart are they telling you they want the Warren Buffett option? How many times? They're telling you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then they go back with the stars. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. 26 times they're going to say it. 26 times they're going to say they want the Warren Buffett option versus being in the stock market or being in something guaranteed. If they tell you 26 times that they want to be in the Warren Buffett option versus something safe or something in the market, what are they going to do at the end of this, guys? Because we told them to, or because they told themselves? Are they looking to get the highest rate of return so they can sell their house and buy a mansion? Or do they want to just avoid ever having to pull their hair out when the market goes down? When we go through the liquidity portion, how many of them tell us that this is more liquid than the money market? Sorry, not money market, money management. How many people tell you, when you do this right, how many people tell you that, that it's better than money management? I got 2 people. 5 people. Come on, guys. Everybody answer that. Is it because we're telling them it's more liquid, or because they're telling us it's more liquid? By a little or a lot? How about fees? Do we hide the fact that, geez, this is paying fees? When the market goes up, you're going to pay a lot more. When the market goes up, you're going to pay a lot more. When the market makes little, you're going to pay less. When the market goes down, they pay you. I mean, when you go through the fees, do we hide the fees, guys? Or are we right in their face with the fees? Geez, if the market goes up 20%, you're only going to get 10. Do we tell them it right up front? And when you tell them it right up front, they still say what? Which would they rather have? Being in an asset paying 1% a year, or would they rather have the FIA? Guys, what are they going to tell you? I'm not telling you should go 50-50. In fact, the biggest problem we have, Jeff, what's the biggest problem we have when people do the FIA presentation right?
Generally, they want to put more money in. They want to put pretty much everything.
Yeah, and we can't let them do that. I mean, we should be able to, because they're allowed to put 100% of their money into the S&P 500 into stocks, but they're not allowed to put 100% of their money in something that beats stocks. Guys, that's how backwards we are. They're allowed to put 100% of their money into something that can lose 50% of what they have. They can't put their money in something that has beat stocks over 5-year periods 5 times out of 6, that they never have to worry about losing their money. That's how idiotic we are right now. So the biggest problem is they're smart. Clients are smart. It's the regulators that are idiots. Clients are smart. The regulators are idiots, because the clients say, I want to put all my money here, and you say, yeah, well, you know what, the regulators are idiots, so we can't. So guys, am I telling them they need to go to FIAs, telling you need to put their clients' money in FIAs? No. Are you telling them they need to put their money into FIAs? No. Who's telling them they want to put money into FIAs? They are. Make sense? So when you've mastered the crib notes and motive, when you mastered the FIA presentation, when you are practicing your MIFT, guys, are you doing your 15-minute drills every day? What's more important than the 15 minutes, those first 15 minutes every day? Nothing. When you're doing that 15-minute drills, when you're getting great at GOTS, looking at the 5-minute moneymaker breakdowns, that's when you're going to make a goal. I hate goals, sorry. Learn the system so you have a system that's going to have you close every person you get in front of, because you're going to tell them they need to move the money, or who's going to tell them that they need to move the money? They. Guys, get paid $1 million to learn Spanish. Get paid $1 million, $2 million a year to learn the 5Q system. Okay? So I'm excited for 2018. Things are lining up perfectly for you guys as members of 5Q. If you choose to continue the path that most of you have chosen, which is to master that 21, master the FIA presentation, okay? You are the people that people are going to be relying on, because they're looking for value now. They're being told that fees are bad. They're being told that anybody that's charging you anything is bad. I mean, that's going to continue to get louder and louder and louder. I don't care if the DOL goes through or not. That's getting loud. They're looking for people who provide value. And guess what you do as members of 5Q? You provide value. So thank you so many for all of you that this year have really put your nose to the grindstone and learn the 21-point checklist. But don't stop now. Now that you've gotten that far, get even more serious and lock it down. Don't do it till you get it right. Do it till you can't get it wrong. And so that you're not doing it, get it down so that the client can't get it wrong. So the client's telling you the 21-point checklist, okay? So guys, you have all the tools to make $1 million, $1.5 million, $2 million a year, if that's your choice, or work half as much to make twice as much as you're making right now, okay? So get serious about these next 2 months. I'm excited. You guys should be excited too, okay? You guys have a great rest of the week, and we'll talk to you all next Monday. Thanks, everybody.